We can discuss all of this with Roger Casale in London. He's a former member of the UK Parliament. Roger, welcome to the programme. So nearly 1,400 jobs a day were lost in the UK just last month. To what extent is the autumn budget driving those losses?
Good morning. Well, the autumn budget was a contributory factor, but the underlying causes go well beyond the autumn budget. The autumn budget was a contributory factor because people in business are concerned. They're anxious about the present, they're anxious about the future, and they're delaying decisions about investment and employment. And they were looking to see what the government did. Remember, the government was a little bit tripped up with the autumn budget because the Office of Budget Responsibility mistakenly released the figures, and that sort of disrupted the communication of it. So I think the autumn budget was a little bit unfortunate, not just because of what the measures were there, but also the presentation, which was not really the government's fault. So I think businesses will be looking at what is going to happen in the March budget, what the government is going to do. But yes, the job loss situation is serious. You quoted 43,000 jobs lost in December. By the way, that's a similar number of jobs that have been lost due to Brexit just in the city. So there are a number of factors going on, not just the autumn budget, but there are underlying causes as well, and you're right to focus on it, and the government are right to be concerned about it.
Yeah, very concerning indeed, especially, of course, for those living and working in the UK. But at what point does this become a serious recession risk for the UK?
Well, you've also pointed out that there's a drop in wage growth, and a small increase in inflation, and these factors, if they're not corrected, can trigger a recession. But of course, we need to wait another 6-9 months to see whether there's a recession or not. I don't believe it's going to lead to a recession, but it is concerning. And you do want confidence to return. The problem the government's got is there's not very much that it can actually do. Government borrowing is at a historic high, not because of the Labour government, but because of COVID and all kinds of things that require the government to be government debt to rise to historic levels. That's also costly. The government's spending a lot of government money on servicing that debt, and also tax levels are high. So I think it's difficult to see how much room for manoeuvre the government has to correct things. But I think the key underlying point really is confidence, is business confidence. We are living in very uncertain, unstable times, and it's important the government doesn't further contribute to that. I think business want to understand what is it that the government wants to do, why does it want to do it, and how is it going to achieve that, and have confidence in the government's plan. The biggest problem that UK has had over the last few years was the famous Liz Truss budget, which was disastrous for business confidence. So, the jury is still out on the government. I'm not saying that business has full confidence in the government. I think they want to look at the March budget and make a decision for themselves as to whether they have confidence in the road ahead.
Yeah, certainly a lot to look at in the next few weeks. Roger Casale, really appreciate your expertise. Thank you very much.